we can just start with you know, anything you guys learned or wins or what you guys did last week.
I'll start.
Yeah.
My Facebook posts usually get 1 or 2 organic views. One post got 4,000 views.
Oh, dang.
I don't know what happened.
Is it video?
Yeah.
Okay.
All my posts are video, and then usually like 3 max. So, I mean, I don't even go and check, but it's like one of those things. Like, okay, I went there to clear my notification because I don't like the little red circle. So I was about to mark it read all, but I was like, hey, wait a minute, this thing got like 4,300 views. So what else going on? And then following posts back to like 1 or 2 views, right? So I don't know what happened. It's like a fluke of an accident.
What did it say? What did the post say?
It's like one of my truck talk videos. It's like one of those.
Was it the shorts of vertical?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a short video, and I was like, okay. I think this is like one of those things that I want to be ready next time it happens, So that's why this past weekend I was focusing on making a landing page for lead magnet material for audience. So I did finish making the page. It is alive, but submission of the form, I want that to function as a gateway to my CRM on the back end. That's not done yet. So page is there, but the functionality is not 100% yet. So I do have a PDF ready. I do have the landing page ready. I do have a subsequent email sequence ready, but then I just have to connect them all together. So that's what I'm going to be working on this week. Video has been kind of hit or miss. YouTube is my main channel I'm focusing on, and some of them gets around 1,000. Some other ones get around 30, not 300, just 30. So it fluctuates, but I think I kind of get the trend. I try to study my more successful videos and try to figure out what's the common denominator. Number one is no testing, not even bleep, just like clean version of it. And then number 2 is the theme is a little bit more universal. When I'm talking about, hey, more about stop procrastinating, or how to make more money, or how to, like pitfalls that prevent you from being successful. Those kind of things tends to get a little bit more hits. So I think those are good indicators and kind of giving me some ideas how I can shape the future videos. I am down to episode 29, I think, as of today for Trump Talk. And I only have like 3 or 4 more videos recorded, so I gotta get on my filming. But that's what's going on. Yeah, more drives. Yes, yeah. So that's what's been going on for me last week.
Anything else? Any feedback or anything? Any insights?
For me, I would say just that I've been enjoying seeing the progress of the others. So I really enjoy your daily AI post. Your Lista is one of my favorites. I see it usually on Instagram, when I get on these channels. And then I'm part of a group text, so I do see the other postings. And so when I notice those, I'll click on each one. But yours comes up naturally. And so I share about that. But for me personally, no progress. Enjoying seeing the progress that others have come up with. Your new websites that you were able to just tinker with a couple weeks ago, and your progress has been inspired.
Pam?
Hi. I'm growing. I'm Pam. I am. I know I'm Pam. I'm not. Okay, so yeah, I haven't done a whole lot with my personal brand.
What about just because I know you use social media. Have you noticed anything that you tend to like watch more, or anything that, because really if it drew your attention, then it did something, right? So any insights on what kind of stuff that you see that you like on social media?
I don't really follow social media very much at all. I just posted a couple things like that you guys created to promote the company. But I mean, I watch stuff on social media that's like some of the reels you mean. Is that
well? No, because I know you've brought some stuff like, oh, watch this, and it's like some like
What
motivation.
that I've been doing?
No, that you just found, like
Oh,
somebody else's.
Very rarely do I
Yeah.
really, I don't really do social media.
Okay.
I'm busy, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I play a game here and there, you know, but I'm not really into like watching. I do watch some reels about positiveness, about narcissism. You know, I just, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I think one thing I would suggest for everybody is just find somebody that you like. Not for the sake of wasting time or spending whatever, but if you want to grow your own audience, at least there should be something that you like. Oh wow, like if I could be like this person, that would be kind of cool, right? Because it makes it a little bit easier to like figure out what to do. So if there's somebody you like, at least just like one person, like, oh, I kind of like how they post about this or whatever,
Right.
you know, just one.
Yeah.
There we go. Good.
Thank you.
So I think this is so from last week, I think I was on from last week to this week, I haven't done anything specifically for personal branding. I've been extremely distracted with trying to figure out how to develop websites, how to fix coding problems that I should have never got into in the first place. But I was distracted because I want to learn how to do these things, right? And so I get on this kick, and then I'm like hyper focused. But so personal branding went to the shelf, right? But I think that a lot of people that are in business right now, that's exactly what happens to all of us. We know that personal branding is important. We even commit to that we're going to do something. We're going to start posting on social media. We're going to have this, right? But then what ends up happening is the day-to-day operations get in the way, and then it's like we have to address this, and then shit, by the time we get home, we're tired. We, whatever. For me personally, I was getting home on average like 8:30, 9 o'clock last week, Plus, in the weekends, my kids got the soccer games, and then you have Rotary, and then I have all of these just different Toastmaster things that just basically take priority in my schedule. And then here we are Monday again, and I have nothing to contribute, right? But I think that's not the case. I do have to contribute. That this is real, this life, right? That we get distracted, and it's okay. And I think that as long as we keep our eyes on the prize, eventually, which is to develop a better brand for ourselves, so that later on we have a community. And then if we sell real estate, guess what? We have a bunch of people that are in our network that we could potentially sell real estate to. If we sell financial services or credit repair or financial education, by building our brand, we have more people to sell, whatever the product is. And so now that also being said, one of the things I was trying to figure out was the automation. And my biggest goal that I was trying to accomplish was to create several looks, like for the audit, I know we had talked about this last week about my whole focus on authenticity. And if we don't have, and then I want to be authentic. And then it was like, but then I'm talking about creating an avatar that's going to say all the things, right?
Yeah.
But what I realized is that there are certain things that I don't necessarily have to be there fully present, right? Because like an email reminder that we get can remind us that we have something to do. It doesn't have to be this whole authenticity. It can just be a little reminder. So I can create avatars that have real small messages, right? It's just like, hey, this is going to be okay. Hey, this, right?
I think for me, it's the idea that it's you, but not you. Like you can easily automate, like how like Sam does some videos where it's just like a soundtrack and the words that pop up.
Yeah.
That you can automate those all day, but I think you don't want to get people used to seeing your face and getting inauthenticity out of it.
Right.
Because when they see the real you, they're like, oh, this freaking robot again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But see, this is the consideration. I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. but then we have like what happened with how much progress I made last week. Shit, I didn't do anything. But if so, then what? So then the question is it better to have
Some of them
someone?
say you can do it without your face.
Yeah, just the audio. Yeah,
Audio, or you just don't want to train people to know that it's a Scotty robot.
the real, yeah.
Like, the guy that does this with everything he said, I'm like, whatever, you know? Yeah.
So like
I would expect you did a lot last week.
here's I did a lot, but not for personal branding though. I believe me, I know I did a lot, but like I still am aside from looking at the stupid computer. But but what I'm saying is that I do think that that there are certain minute small things that could be automated,
Mhm.
but not like real in-depth moments, right? Just like a reminder, like so people as they're scrolling something that just real quick, not like a whole long. Anyway, so that's that. But then I was thinking about different looks. So when you're doing an avatar, which is different looks, and what they're telling you when you do the avatar, you don't want to be highly gesturing because then like with the automations, it's like you're talking about stupid trash can, and you're like, and it's a trash can, and it's way over, right? But if you do your avatar and you just have minor gestures like this, and then but so my question, maybe I'm asking you guys too, is that what I was thinking about was maybe doing one where there's like I'm doing the dishes, right? But not doing the dishes, just the dishes are in front of me and then I'm talking. Or like in the jacuzzi and it's or like where there's a mountain behind me, or I'm just thinking like different looks. And if you guys have any ideas, I'm open for suggestions. That's all. So
And if it's got
Well, I'd say, speaking while you do the magic trick would be authentic, because you can do it almost in your sleep. And then it's kind of like people could be focusing on you or on what your hands are doing and listening to what you're saying at the same time.
yeah, for actual videos, it wouldn't work with an avatar to do that.
I'm just saying, like, yeah, but that is one thing that you are good at, like when you do a trick, how you always incorporate a story. Like you can incorporate a story with a trick, and then you can make it like something that's benefiting them and some sort of message, right? There's not too many magicians I see that do that. They show the trick and the message.
Look at this.
Is a trick, right? It's not like there's like a deeper meaning behind it. That's kind of a Scotty thing. That might be kind of cool. To be honest. Yeah.
And it's a very unique thing.
Yeah.
So coming up with some of those tricks and having stories, basically.
If you gotta use jacuzzi, make sure you have a cigar.
Okay.
Okay. That's kind of like a cool idea.
just
Oh,
I like it. I like jacuzzi talks.
yeah,
Yeah.
jacuzzi itself is nothing really special, but it is a cigar. Oh shit, look at that.
So okay, I'm glad that you said that because I think this is the
With that little fedora, and then
well, I'm not sure about that, but
remember, I'm imagining. Remember, Coming to America? Old
Yeah.
Murphy, Ed Murphy.
yeah, of course.
Remember they remodeled their entire hotel room, whatever, and then the landlord ended up using it.
Mhm.
And then he was like relaxed, cigar and everything. That's like the scene I'm kind of picturing, Yeah.
That's a good idea.
We're just gonna mark your video adults only because they're smoking.
Yeah, well,
Or their audience only.
but I think that's kind of what, since we're doing this and we're up to our own ideas and creativity, I feel like it's okay to like press the issue. So have something that is unique. And that's, I think what I'm asking is that like what you answered is exactly what I'm asking. Something that I think is unique enough that's going to keep somebody's attention, or at least make them look like, like what is going on there, right? Long enough for you to get your message across, and then they can scroll again. So that's what I'm looking for. Different looks, or like in the jacuzzi with the cigar. I'm 100% using that. What else? Like what other kind of ideas? So I mean, obviously you don't have to answer right now, but if you have any ideas that I'm open. Open for suggestions.
All right. One of the things I was looking at these insights because there's a couple of like people who talk about personal brand, like these experts so called, and then just also some of the people I follow looking at the trends. There's kind of been a little shift. So I know before we were talking about the strategy of posting like your main thing and a bunch of little things that gain traffic.
Yeah.
It seems as though it's shifting away from that. It looks like the algorithm this is mostly on YouTube, but YouTube kind of like a lot of them focus on the way YouTube works. So it might apply to the other ones, but so in the past, YouTube basically, say like Hormozy is a good example. He would post a bunch of stuff about business and then workout stuff and then just random like stories of like Chick-fil-A and stuff like that. So when I did that deep dive, his Chick-fil-A stories and his like I'm eating 300 grams of protein a day. That's how I do. Well, it was Chick-fil-A. It was Chick-fil-A his highest one. He talks about Chick-fil-A all the time, but his highest view was Chick-fil-A. So
Oh,
yeah.
Always got a little extra controversy in it, so it has more traction, I think.
Yeah, it could be. What or people just like they like Chick-fil-A. Like, what do you talk about Chick-fil-A, right? So, but that was kind of like the thing is that these non-main topic stuff was bringing in a lot of traffic and then getting his views up. And then the idea before was your other content that you're trying to be like your main like selling points would get fed to the map. But I guess as AI is getting a little more sophisticated, and also it seems like they're getting like more lazy about it. Maybe it's just the amount of AI they're using. It's there seems to be a trend where they're really not testing the content that you're posting specifically on the topic. So for instance, if I were to talk all about like business optimization, then threw in a golf post, usually what would happen is like it would find my audience for business and then it'll try golf and see like people who are into golf and then capture like so you have like a separate audience for golf. And then hopefully they intermingle somehow. But you're depending on the video that you post, you're catering to like the golf audience, catering to the business audience. That was how it was working before, or the thought.
Yeah.
Now it seems that if they solidify you as like the business guy, you're gonna put a golf video. They're gonna send it to the business people. They're not going to take the time to look for that other secondary audience.
Huh.
So it's hurting a lot of people as far as like suddenly, because just imagine the algorithm, you're posting content, you're growing this, and then suddenly you post another video and nobody looks at it.
Yeah.
So it's just saying that your content's crap. Like your people didn't like it. Well, it's because it's going to the wrong audience. So, but people are saying that it's growing the audience faster because what they're doing is if you're posting about the same stuff over and over, it's getting way better, probably with AI, at finding the exact right audience for your main topic, and then it keeps audience. And then so they're seeing a trend where if you talk about the same thing, you can actually build the audience a lot quicker than before. It's better at finding the right people, but then when you throw in run and stuff, it screws it all up. So it's kind of a big shift. But that so makes me rethink the strategy of like throwing in other no golf stuff and other stuff. That's why YouTube specifically.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that being said, it's I'm rethinking a few things because it's interesting because Scotty wrote these things on the board and actually a lot of them fall under one. So that the idea was through that one, like through my Ascent and Elite, there's different pillars in there. So the topics would be the 4 separate pillars. But then if this is the case, then by separating it into 4 different pillars, it might confuse the audience. Because I was hoping to get one pillar audience, another pillar audience, another pillar separate audience, and then they would all funnel to one place. But it seems more beneficial to just focus on one, and then you can grow that bigger and then get in on there. So that's what I'm trying to work out is like if I double down on a single pillar on there and then capture them all that way, and have the secondary ones just kind of like organically happen after they come together. But yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do is just choose which one that's going to be. So, I mean, right now, what I'm doing is, and I was explaining it to Sam, the videos that I posted, and I'm kind of hoping that you guys would do kind of the same thing. But the first videos that I posted are really what is going to be the samples that's going to go onto the podcast one sheet. So one of the things that we're trying to do is after you kind of figure out your brand and what your message is to get on additional podcasts. So one of the things that they want to see on there is is send a few links of videos that are kind of talking about what you're planning on talking about in the podcast. So the ones that I created were specifically for that. So not necessarily to get views on YouTube and stuff like that. It's to answer those questions. And I try to keep them short because they're not going to want to watch these long, like hour-long videos. So those particular videos were like only 4 minutes apiece. But then now it's like those four are different 40. So
When you said 4 different pillars, your essential lead is about personal development.
so the four is actually so the 4 pillars of there is basically like elite status, like how do you achieve elite, right? So it's mindset,
Uh-huh.
and then it's personal brand.
Okay.
It's money and lifestyle and AI. So those are the 4 different things.
Can you frame it in a way it's kind of stemming from the same theme? Or?
That's what I'm trying to do. So essentially, I'm just trying to prepare people for the future. Like what's going to be important in the future? AI, obviously.
Yeah.
Personal brand, obviously, we talked about that. Like, and then mindset, nothing works if your mind isn't right. And then now that you figure all this out, what do you do? Like, or how are you supposed to generate money in the future when a child is not or whatever? That's the other pillar. So it all falls down to the idea of people who want to like forward thinking, like prepare for the future type stuff.
Okay.
But how do you, for algorithm's sake, how do you like capture that in something? Because I don't know, it might be premature to have an audience that's already like that. This is more of like we're building that idea. It's not like that's already out there, the audience for it. You know what I mean? But there is definitely an audience for each of those individual pillars. But if that's the case now, where the algorithms want you to stay in a lane, then is it the mindset lane? Is it AI? Is it the personal brand? Or is it, then I go double down on to try to grow that audience. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing right now. As far as the results, it's working out pretty good. The only thing, TikTok gets a lot of I get a lot of traction on there. Like the view, there's more views, but results wise, like actually people downloading the PDF, it's like nothing. It's like it's hard to get them to leave the platform. But I know they're real people because I have conversations with them. I DM them, they DM me. They're real people, but I don't know if it's just the mentality. But it's interesting because I did watch a guy that explained it really well. So he was saying basically that you have to look at social media as like a highway. So like you're on a highway and there's speed limits. So TikTok has like one of the fastest speed limits. So say you're going 90 miles an hour on TikTok because you're like scrolling. Instagram is pretty close to that, right? YouTube is a much slower pace because they're watching long form. Okay. So they're saying that if you try to like put the brakes on them and make them stop, it's very hard to stop somebody that's going 90 miles an hour to slow down and stop. Which means if you're trying to get them to fill out a form and go on to get a PDF, when they're in the mentality of 90 miles an hour, it's nearly impossible to catch them like that. So that's why TikTok is hard to convert to get them to do something like that. And YouTube is the easiest because they're slow. And the second, or actually for me, the first best is X, because most people are reading on there. Yeah. So they're already in the mentality of reading. It's not, even though I'm posting video, most people are there for reading.
Yeah. So
they're in the mindset of like reading and replying. And so like reading the landing page and filling out their email is not a big jump. So X converts the best. Long form is second on YouTube, but it was a good eye opener. Guys, like, dude, like nobody's converting. Like even when I get a ton of views on this, I even tried buying views on Instagram. And it's like it's hard to get them to like jump off. You know what I mean? It's easy to get them, like, if you want them to follow something or do something that's part of like what they're doing,
Yeah.
but to jump off and do something like it's not good.
And
So-
was Facebook following yours right away? Well,
I think Facebook. I see the thing is I don't focus too much on Facebook. That's because I don't really.
Facebook is like Carmageddon.
Yeah,
Nothing's moving.
but I would assume Facebook is probably better than Instagram and TikTok. It probably will be better. But yeah, but that. It was a good, interesting analogy. It made sense. So if you're going to try to do lead capture or something on there, it needs to be a 90-mile-per-hour way of doing it. You know, so that's why the mini chat works,
Yeah.
because mini chat doesn't make them do it now. Mini chat is like, hey, that mini chat is the one where it says like comment, like, you know, like comment whatever,
Yeah,
comment J, and then I'll send you my
Keyword.
thing or like a keyword. So they're already in the process, like a comment, and then they just leave. And then like later down the road, it's sending them a message and one, you know.
Right.
So instead of getting them to do it right then and there.
but on Instagram, but they don't have to instantly go to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
So yeah, I knew ManyChat would work, but I didn't really understand like why the flop. But then now it makes total sense. It's because you're not putting the brakes on them. You're still going with the flow of normal thing. Unfortunately, TikTok doesn't. It says not available in America, that ManyChat in there, but you can still just tell them to comment, and then you manually or have a VA go in and do it. I'm gonna probably try that on there, but yeah, that's kind of my.
Yeah.
What's anybody's
Anybody else listening into like what I thought?
who's the 951 number on here? Is that
Hey, Vicky.
somebody
Vicky,
there?
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi,
Okay.
Vicky.
Hi.
And how are you?
Fine.
Good.
Just trying to figure out everything you guys are talking about.
Vicky wants to do, she wants to actually do consulting. Reaching out to get clients.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Have I met Vicky?
I don't think so.
Okay. I know Jeff was on here earlier, but I don't see him on right now.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's very interesting.
Yeah, these guys are way interesting.
That's- yeah, I mean it's a long process, and then going back to what Scotty was saying, you know, a good, I guess, analogy was like, you know, I remember a client that I had when I was doing marketing for businesses, where like it was like I built a website for him, and I was like, hey, you should use social media, you should do paid ads, you should do all these kind of things. And they're like, no. And then finally, after months of convincing, they finally decided to do it. So they're like, oh yeah, it's a lot of work. We gotta, make these ads and shoot pictures and all this kind of stuff. But then after a while, they started getting business from it. So like, and then I would say more than half of their business came from social media and ads. So then now it's like, if one of the ads aren't converting, or like, hey, we don't have an ad for this week, they're like, oh, we need the ad, we need to do this. So it's kind of that thing. It's tough for us as individuals for personal brand, because we're not, unless you're trying to monetize from day one, like the benefit, but you won't do it. Like you won't see it until you get some results. But by the nature of social media, it's a long-term play. Like that same guy that was talking about the highway said, it's a 2-year play minimum before you see like actual traction. And he says pretty solid, you could probably get 10,000 followers in 2 years. But then after the 2 years is when you start seeing like 100,000, 1 million. It takes exponential growth. You need about 10,000 for it to have that. To start that's the tipping point, 10,000. Because in reality, if you have 10,000, you're probably in the top like 0.1% of YouTubers.
Wow.
Yeah. So that being said, now you're getting more audience because you have like a share of the audience. Because it's all, you look at it as like the stock market. There's like X amount of dollars are out there, dollars and people. You know what I mean? The more market share you have, the more you control, right? Of like a stock. It's the same thing. Like once you start controlling a chunk that actually makes a difference, then things start like happening. So it's kind of a long-term play as far as if you're trying to get like 1 million followers, but you can make money from day one because like if you're super niche and then you have like I was saying, I haven't tried to create like traffic gaining videos, but then I just put my link on there and I've already gotten like 5 people that filled out the calendar. One guy never showed up. So if you're watching, 6:30 in the morning, he made an appointment. I was like, fine,
Oh.
I'll do 6:30 right. Shut up. I was like, but
That's the last video, 6:30 AM, right?
well, it's my fault because I agreed to it, but I didn't realize it was in the East Coast. So it's at 9:30 on my thing. I said click and it was, but it didn't show up. So everybody else showed up and it's really cool. But I'm just saying it doesn't take much. Like if you are a business and you're like doing a very specific thing, like you did credit repair and you target like, like even if you have like 10 followers, one of those people might say like, hey, can you help me? You know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't take much if you have some sort of way to monetize it,
Oh, my subscription almost doubled.
Almost.
Last week was 8 people. This week I have 15. That's a small number, but yeah, it's fun. Oh yeah, I had a couple of trolls too. They're like hating me. They're like, one of the videos they were commenting something negative, and then I was thinking about should I reply, should I not reply, but I decided to reply because not for that particular person, but I want other people to see that I'm gutsy enough to respond. Like I want to show them that, dude, I'm not gonna mess around with this, kind of stuff. So one guy was saying that, hey, disclaimer, this is not gonna work. And then I replied, disclaimer, not with that kind of attitude. So my whole purpose was, I believe in my videos and my messaging enough to respond. So if it's like a pure hate, then I'm just gonna delete it. But if it's something else, then hey, it's good. I'm pretty good at trolling too. So hey, watch out, man.
I don't think you should put the time or effort to respond to negative stuff.
Well, isn't
That's what I should say.
that
I like to.
a way that people get more followers for themselves?
Yeah.
Gain
So
more traction?
more comment. I'm guessing that more comment it has, it will attract more views hopefully. And then I don't know if it's coincidence or not, but that particular video I responded has like 3 likes. And then after I commented, it has like another 4 or 5 likes. So I was like, okay, maybe it's working, maybe it's not, but it's hey, I want to portray myself as somebody who can back up what I'm posting. So that was my decision.
Yeah, seems like commenting would add to the ability of that to be read.
Yeah.
The
And then-
algorithm.
Yeah. And then like Scotty said, it's like showing authenticity. If I'm in the same room with this person, I'll talk to that guy. So yeah, that's just how I would respond in person or online. So it wasn't a hateful message, my response. It was just kind of, dealing trolling with trolling. So it wasn't outrageous or anything, So,
or maybe you should be.
but then after that TikTok incident, we kind of yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, one thing I think we should address is the whole subscriber thing because it's interesting when you see the data. Like when you get and I think it has to do with the same thing with that highway thing. Like because people on like TikTok, they'll like it's very easy to get subscribers on TikTok. But when you look at the data as far as how many people are like actually seeing your content again, it's probably 10% less. So it's like, and the reason is if you actually click on some of these people that subscribe, they subscribe to like 1,000 people. It's like, oh, I like that, subscribe. So that, but then if they subscribe to 1,000 people, the chances of your stuff popping up, unless they interacted with your stuff, is like slim to none, right? So really, I think aside from optics, the biggest subscription value comes from YouTube.
Okay.
But it's the same highway scenario when they're subscribing from shorts. Okay. But the real benefit is if they subscribe from shorts, that it'll feed them the long form content. But the long form content, that's where the value of the subscription is for the viewer because you may post a long form once a week or once every other week. So they want to know when that new one's coming out. So that's why they're subscribing. So they'll notify them that, hey, there's a new video coming out. So that being said, it's actually not that easy to get a bunch of subscribers from shorts. It's actually easier to get subscribers from long form.
Yeah,
Um,
that's in the works, by the way.
yeah. So, but the long form content has to be,
Well put together.
it has to be well put together. It has to be some sort of benefit to this.
Yeah.
Like there needs to be a reason for them to subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're just talking about that with like trajectory, is that we have a lot of good content. We have there's good interviews, but there's not really a reason for them to have to come back. Like they don't need to know when's the next episode, because it's not like following a series or you know what I mean?
No potential cliffhangers.
It's not like, it's kind of like even though I subscribe to like Joe Rogan, it wasn't very important for me to know when his next video is coming out. I need to really just know who's going to be on.
Yeah.
Because he has like 8 comedians, UFC, then Elon's Elon's coming in. It's so it's not, you have to think of it in the same mentality. Like, why would they need to be notified? So that's the thing. So with trajectory, we're talking about following a storyline or following a journey where they want to see what's happening. So but that can be applied to all of ours, you know what I mean? As far as some sort of ongoing narrative, it's just think of it as a show. YouTube is a show. So why would they come back? You know what I mean? Yeah. A lot of people do it with part 1 of 3 or something like that. You could just literally say part 1 of 3, but somebody's interested in it. So now they have to subscribe because they're waiting for 2 and 3, kind of stuff like that. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing some of that kind of stuff, but you should probably put some long form. All right. Any feedback? Anything else? Questions? Any plans? What's on your plan for?
I think I'm gonna continue with the looks. That's something that's very simple. I do need to I think the majority of the time I'm gonna be spending this week is also gonna be on the business side, as far as getting more familiar with other things that are gonna take more time. But maybe next week I'll start doing a little bit more with the personal brand stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe what's good practice, I do the daily AI news every day, right? And that's giving me a lot of insight into shorts, even though I did a lot of research and kind of understand, you see nuances and because you see all the data with the shorts, so the stuff that I found out is the first few seconds are crucial. So I always have to put kind of what they're why would they stick around in text on the first few seconds, because otherwise they don't know what it's about. So if you think it's something that's going to capture them, it'll help the video. But also I realized that if the story is garbage, and actually I will get more views if I don't tell what it's about. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because they're looking oh, what is it? And whatever. But they watch the whole thing and figure that out. But but you don't see those. You don't think of those insights until you actually see stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean,
so do it and test.
Well, I was thinking in so the AI stuff I'm doing, I mean, even though AI, I want to do one of the pillars for Ascent Elite, it's for our company. But you can create one in the framework of our company. You know what I mean? So it's because I know you're I'm trying to focus on business or whatever, but if you focus and do those trials in the business setting of trying to get people to follow Mentorsoft, you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, because you'll be because I know one of the things we talked about, you don't seeing yourself on camera, right? But it's the same thing as I don't like speaking on stage. It's repetition, right? It's stage time. It's the same thing. I was the same way when I did it, but when I went through that sprint of posting every day, I got over it. I was I don't really care what the hell I'm posting. I just need to get something out. You know what I mean? But you can do that while doing something for work. So then it feels like you're not doing it for nothing. Because it's all a mental thing. You're really not doing it for nothing, but it feels more like tangible if you're doing it for something you're focused on right now. You know what I mean? Just to get the repetitions in.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, that's,
Yeah.
I'll keep
Okay.
thinking.
I
about
came
that.
across something really interesting. So I joined a couple of groups, right? And I have 140 new friend requests.
Okay.
I don't, the population might not be the best. But maybe you could target like a certain group to like, I don't know, 100 I have.
For the Facebook?
Yeah,
Mhm.
crazy. That's, I haven't responded to anyone, but there's requests that want to be my friend.
Cool.
And
No, but it's, I'm telling you, like, I keep telling you, like, we'll have a plan, but
I'm waiting.
but I mean, your story is, especially because a lot of these groups are like women.
Right,
I think it's pretty intriguing. Like, just seem like, wow, this, like, she's doing stuff.
right.
I want to do stuff. I want to be like, what she's doing. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, you're a girl from day one. Like today, you're giving me like attitudes, like, oh, I got a process on how I do this. I
One for one, I have 4 appointments in the next,
Yeah.
so. I mean, that's not that much. It's
But
gonna be like-
I mean, it's huge and it's cool. Like other women who are like, just think of you like 3 months ago, right? Versus you now, like you seem like
3 hours ago, I was a totally different person than I
Well,
am
no,
now.
I
but,
mean, I'm just saying, like, as far as like your confidence and like
Right.
doing like a tech business, it's kind of like completely off. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't even on your radar last year. You know what I mean? Yeah, but it's pretty inspiring. So I think it's gonna be a lot of people, but that's even online and in person. So it's powerful. I think.
So I I'm going to start teaching in-person credit education starting a week from tomorrow.
Oh, cool, awesome.
So we have a location, we have approval for it. So I'm pretty excited about that. I haven't figured out how to videotape that. I think that would be a good way to post some things from that and see where that goes. But I'm developing that now.
Yeah, I mean, I know we talked about the connector and doing all that kind of stuff, but online like credit fixing is humongous, and it's not like it's oversaturated because people just work with who they trust. Like if you can develop that trust, and I mean, people trust you, like you have a good way of portraying trust, in the way you do things. I think you would be very well at that, as far as growing that audience. Yeah, it's the number one moneymaker out there right now. So you're in a good spot. Sam?
I'm gonna finish working on the back end of the landing page with CRM and campaign, and I will continue filming the short series, but at the same time, I know I need to post longer form videos,
Yeah.
5 minutes, maybe 7
Well,
minutes.
it's not that you replace it with the short. The short
Right.
supposed to complement
Yep.
the long. Yeah.
So that's in the works, and I also want to explore some faceless videos. So faceless videos will not be shorts. So it will be, I have like a whole bunch of materials that I want to do like a voiceover. And those will be like 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes. Those are like a short, one of the relatively short long form videos. I mean, it's like a medium form video, it's not even, So those will be in landscape format. I want to post that. It's gonna go over the the philosophy behind the movement and stuff that I want to do. And then longer form videos, even more, will be more of a weekly or bi-weekly newsletter. So I'm gonna my process will start with the well-written material, and that will be the basis of the script. And my goal is to start producing long form videos and posting it. I don't know, maybe 2-3 weeks, but it's a lot of pre-production work that I need to do.
Yeah.
Your short videos are very inspiring, inspire confidence. When we hear it's good. It's good motivation too.
Thank
A
you.
short burst of energy you get out of that. So thank you for doing that too.
I think you could be more controversial, but
So yeah,
it is tough because it's so funny because like we always say that you're like the Asian Andrew Tate, you didn't even know what he was posting. But if you see his progression,
Yeah.
he got banned from everywhere.
Yeah.
Like he was like zero, like other people had to post stuff, he couldn't even post. So
Mhm.
growing an audience, probably not the best way because you get banned everywhere, like
Right.
and as you know.
But the difference is that I think Andrew Tate got a lot of hate because his messaging was like quote unquote anti-woman almost, yeah. But then my messaging is gonna be I'm not even gonna talk about women issue at all. It's gotta be just focused on it's like the tagline will be like I'm not anti-feminine, I'm just pro-masculine. That's it. And I'm not gonna talk about what women should or shouldn't do or women's role.
So,
what is
well,
I'm just solely gonna focus
I'm
on
curious because there's a lot of people who claim his pro-masculine views got banned, not the women.
Hmm.
So we'll see.
That's interesting.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Huh, okay.
I mean, it's.
Huh.
I don't think it was, I kind of missed the little troll back. For me, so my next series of videos is the ones that get views are all usually like storytelling as far as how I improve this in my life by doing this, or transformation. I changed this by doing this type thing. Those are the ones that get a lot of views. Unless you're like a somebody, then I just listen to you. But if you're like a nobody, it's usually like what I did to do this. Right? So the problem is I was creating all these videos with the 4 pillars. So I'm now thinking I have to get very clear on who that customer avatar is to see if that avatar, according to the algorithm, has just one of those pillars, 2, 3, to see if I can focus just on that. But it's going to be more very clear on the customer avatar instead of because before it was 4 different avatars. Now it has to be one avatar. Hopefully, I could blend multiple of those topics. Because I agree. I'm seeing the trend too. It's when he says that, I see that it is the ones that are very like one single thing. They're blowing up. Like I know my son is obsessed with car YouTubers, and there's like if you're a car YouTuber and you're like just all car YouTuber, like and since it's like a trending thing, I've seen ones like, oh, there's this new guy. He's kind of like this guy. He doesn't have barely any followers. I'm watching him, and a couple thousand followers, and then like a couple months later, he goes like, oh, he hit 100,000 already. I'm like, what the heck? Like literally. And the same with the golf YouTubers. Like if you're very in one line, because they already know the audience.
Yeah.
There's a big pool of, okay, we know all these people do cars. We know all these people do the golf. So it's very easy for them to send your stuff in front of them. Now, of course, the videos have to be good. Otherwise they won't watch. But as far as discovering the audience, they got it down. So, but you have to find what those pools are to cater to them. So that's now my challenge is to find which pool I'm targeting. Yeah. All right. Okay. Anything else? All righty. All right. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
You got some value in it.
Yeah. Hopefully a few nuggets here.
See you back in a week.
All right. All right, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.